Welcome, I'm Mrs. Burns and you are watching Lesson 5 of our chapter on fractions. Today we are looking at section 6.3 multiplying to proper fractions. So a couple things just to recap and make sure we're all on the same page. The first thing is that when we multiply fractions, you do not need to find the lowest common denominator. You only need to find the LCD when you are adding or subtracting fractions. And we already learned about multiplying fractions by a whole number, and remember that any whole number, oopsies, is really just a secret fraction. So 6 can also be expressed as 6 over 1 times 1/3. Multiply our numerators, multiply our denominators, and then figure out, is there any number that both can be divided by? Well, in this case, they can both be divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, 3 divided by 3 is 1, so our answer can be 2 over 1, or you can say plain old 2. So when we multiply two proper fractions, remember that a fraction is just a number, again, where the numerator is smaller than the denominator, so 1 over 2, or say 7 over 10, or 100 over 1,000, anytime this smaller numbers on top. All we need to do is multiply our numerators, then multiply our denominators, and then think if we can reduce it or not. And remember that reducing is just thinking well, if any number can both the denominator and the numerator be divided by? Can they be divided by the same number? So let's look at this example. 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 5 is 20. We see that 6 and 20 are both even numbers. In fact, they can both be divided by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, 20 divided by 2 is 10. So we've reduced 6 over 20 to 3 over 10. Our next example, 1/3 times 1/2. The numerators 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 2 is 6. Can we make this any smaller? Nope, that's it, 1/6. Our next example, 2/3 times 1/2 times 4/5. Oh no, now we have 3. Well, that's okay. We can just do one at a time. So let's pick the first two because it's all multiplication. It doesn't matter what order. So let's say 2 times 1 over 3 times 2. Then we'll multiply that by 4 over 5. So 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6 times 4/5. 2 times 4 is 8. 6 times 5 is 30. These can both be divided by 2. Our answer is 4 over 15. That can't be reduced anymore. And our last example on this page, hey look, we have a whole number. That whole number can be expressed as a fraction. So 1/4, let's do the first two first. 1/4 times 2 over 1, we'll do those ones first. That's why I put the brackets there, times 5 over 6. 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 1 is 1, times 5 over 6. Oopsies. 2 times 5 is 10. 4 times 6 is 24. We can divide both of these numbers by the same number. So 24 cannot be divided by 10? No. Can they both be divided by 5? No. Can they both be divided by 4? No. So let's try, can they both be divided by 2? Yes, they can. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So our answer is 5/12. All right, on to my favorite, word problems. Zoe loves to draw, and so she was drawing all week last week. In fact, she drew for 3/4 of an hour on 4 different days. So how long is that? How many hours did she spend drawing? Well, she drew for 3/4 of an hour times 4 different days. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4. These can both be divided by 4. That gives us 3 over 1, or she drew for 3 hours. Wow, no wonder she's so good. Example 2. Insects account for 5 out of 6 of all known animal species. So let's write this as division. Insects out of all animal species, animal, account for 5 out of 6. Now, it says about a quarter of those insects are a species of beetle. So of that 5, beetles, out of all the insects, is the fraction 1/4. What fraction of all animal species are a species of beetle? So we can say 5/6 times 1/4 equals 5/24. Can we reduce this any further? Is there any number that both 5 and 24 can be divided by? No, there's not. So that's our answer. 5 out of 24 are beetles. There we go. And last example for today. Brady's soccer team plays an 80-game season. So they play 80 games. They won 3/5 of their games in the first half of the season and then 3/4 of their games in the second half of the season. How many games did they win in total? So if we divide this into season 1 and season 2, we can say 80 divided by 2 is 40. So they played 40 games each season. And in that first season, they won 3/5, and in the second season, they won 3/4. So that's going to be pretty good. They're going to win a lot of games, I think. It sounds pretty good. So we can say this number plus this number will be how many they won in the total 80 games. So 3/5 times 40 games, make that into our secret fraction, equals 120/5. Both of these numbers can be divided by 5, so they won 24 games. Woohoo! In their second season, they won 3/4 of their 40 games. So again, that's 120, this time divided by 4. 120 can be divided by 4, so that's really convenient. And they won in the second season 30 games. So we can add these two together to see how many throughout the whole season. 24 plus 30 games gives us a grand total of 54 games won. Woohoo! That's really great. All right, now you are comfortable with multiplying proper fractions. Stay tuned. In section 6.4, we're going to discover how to multiply improper fractions and mixed numbers.